I'm Jimmy Ward and welcome to my review for Under the Skin. This has been one of my most anticipated science fiction films of this year. I got my chance to watch it a couple of months ago. There's a link in the description below for my written review that I did on Letterboxd, so please go and check that out, folks. And the film stars Scarlett Johansson. Basically the storyline follows around a kind of like a seducing kind of alien that's basically going around Scotland picking up kind of, isolated lone male victims and kind of like bringing them to this kind of like really like rundown kind of place, and then doing some really creepy stuff, basically kind of taking organs and basically removing them, like their kind of blood and skin and things like that, and really creepy ass stuff in a sense. That's kind of the main kind of plot. It's basically a similar version of kind of like Species, but it's a bit more low key. It's a bit more like it doesn't really have all the answers. It doesn't go like typical Hollywood in a sense. The main star, of course, is Scarlett Johansson. This is her main kind of like her performance in this movie, and she's had a really fantastic year in terms of movies with Captain America, Winter Soldier, played a really good role in that, and she also did a really good drama film, another sci-fi drama, which was one of my absolute favourite movies of this year also. Under the Skin is one of those movies which is definitely not going to be for everyone. I've seen so many reviews going from really good to really bad. Basically, some people giving it a 1 star, being it's a piece of shit basically, other people saying it's a masterpiece, and I don't know, myself, I was blown away by it. I was absolutely just astonished and really happy to finally watch it when I did. I heard so many good things when it was released, and it looked so good. The soundtrack was so good before even watching the movie that I even used some of the pieces within my short film Mirror Mirror. The film is one of those kind of films where like it tells this kind of the story of this kind of alien, her beginnings. The opening of the movie is kind of like it's kind of that weird kind of like looks with the whites and the blacks kind of like forming, creating, and it creates like an eyeball basically towards the opening, and then you get some interesting imagery. The film doesn't have much dialogue in terms of like the last kind of the middle and the last act of the movie. Even when it does have dialogue with Scarlett Johansson's character, she only really speaks during the actual van scenes when she's actually driving around trying to find male victims. There's not much dialogue in it. It's more about visual look, it's more about stylistic, and it's more about this kind of character, this alien basically, that is sent to do a purpose job, and she's discovering herself in this movie. She's definitely has a purpose, and then she kind of questions things and then tries to discover who she is and why she's doing the things that she does. It's basically a character drama in a sense, but it's done through a certain type of style and certain type of look, and it's really is fantastic. And in terms of cinematography, in terms of how it was put together, it's extraordinary. A lot of the sequences, especially towards the opening with Scarlett Johansson in the streets, a lot of hidden cameras, a lot of hidden throughout the places, the van scenes, hidden cameras throughout all that stuff. Some of the actors in the actual movie were just random people from the streets that she was talking to and just speaking with them, just naturally dialogue. Some of the other characters, a bit more placed here and there, obviously, towards some of the bigger, more scenes later on. But it's just extraordinary work, and I like the fact that the director describes like with some of the hidden camera shots in the mall sequence when people start to look at her. It's the idea that she's kind of like brings this kind of like attraction to her. I really like that. The deeper meaning within the cinematography is extraordinary. It really is, and it really is well put together. Now it's a good example of a film that does have a bit more style than it is substance, but the substance is there. It is currently there. It is a alien that is trying to discover herself. She doesn't say much. She's only confident when she's on the hunt in a sense, but it's interesting, and there's a lot of hidden meanings, a lot of hidden stuff in the movie, like the idea of having something beautiful like a rose within one of the sequences, and then having the cutting yourself on the petal. Roses are beautiful, but they also come pretty sharp, and also they can hurt you in a sense. The idea when she's eating the cake, it's a beautiful cake, it's nice and delicious. She eats it, it's bitter inside, it's nasty, and it's just some of those sequences and how it goes. And compared to like other movies of this year, like Enemy, for instance, that was another movie of that style, of like fantastic stylistic vision, good characters, good kind of like exploring of the story and the narrative and what it means. And when you actually really think about it, really dive in and get these kind of discussions and theories going and get the right one, get the right look of it, it turns into a masterpiece. And I really like films that like this that really stick in the mind with you. Even after you finish the film, you're still thinking about it, you still want to decode some of the messages, and you go back and you watch it again and you figure out something that you didn't know before. And I personally really do like that, and I like movies when they challenge you and they actually do offer something right there. Unlike another movie of last year which I reviewed called Only God Forgives with Ryan Gosling, that was a movie which had way over the top violence, really pointless over the top violence, more style than substance, characters which you didn't like, you didn't care about, and throughout the movie you just couldn't connect or actually really understand what he was trying to say in a sense. I mean, yes, the director was saying this and that, and male masculinity with the muscles and the hands and things like that, and yada yada yada, whatever. But the film didn't deliver in the sense of a film which you can actually get behind and watch. It doesn't have to be, a massively happy film. Just the film did not have the same kind of impact, didn't have the same kind of like a film which you want to dive back into again and get into that world. It was just a nasty movie with unlikable characters, which by the end I did not give a shit about. This movie, it's a very different type of style to it. This movie does have its own kind of visual style, and it does have its own look, and it doesn't play too much on the dialogue. But it's still quite interesting, still enjoyable, even towards the third act of the movie when it's mainly just her trying to find herself and trying to discover herself. It's very interesting, and I really like the performances done by Scarlett Johansson. I thought she was really fantastic, and definitely a nail-biting performance, a definitely really interesting performance from her. This is the very first movie, of course, when she's full frontal nudity as well, so that's a kind of a nice bonus. The film's good by itself, and the fact you get Scarlett Johansson fully naked is an absolute marvellous bonus for sure. I felt there's some really shocking sequences, especially towards, I'm not going to say too much about those things you'll see when if you do watch it. I think it's a movie which is not going to be for everyone, not everyone's going to enjoy it, everyone's going to like it, but the people out there that want a bit of an interesting sci-fi drama, it does have an edge, does have a bit of a film, does have an aftershock feeling to it by the end of the movie. It's a movie that begs for discussion, it begs for rewatch and multiple viewings and things like that. I fully enjoyed it. I thought it captured me, really captured what the story was trying to say, and I felt I did something really special, and I really did enjoy it. Same with Enemy, same with her. It has its own theme, it has its own style to it, and I just absolutely loved it from start to finish. So that's been my thoughts and opinions on Under the Skin. I hope you enjoy watching this review. What did you think of the movie? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's better? Any opinions? Comment down below. So in the meantime, I should be signing out.